Support for this episode is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 8 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code BET. That's B-E-T, BET at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 16 million balls. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. So, get 20% off and free shipping with code BET at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with code BET at manscaped.com. Order today for free worldwide shipping and to help support me. And I thank you, Manscaped, for supporting our dream. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to American Homicide. I'm Jake, and today we are going to discuss an unsolved case from my own hometown. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at our solved case for the week. And this week, I am excited to continue to talk about a case that we discussed once on this show before. And it is one that's very near and dear to my heart. And it is the solved case now, thankfully, of the Delphi double homicides, where Richard Allen, a 50-year-old Delphi man, was arrested. He was arrested in November of 2022. It was quite the shock to everyone. I remember waking up one day and just going on Twitter and being like, "What is happening?" And it was everywhere, and it was such huge news. And the joy, the overwhelming feel of just like euphoria, like it's over. Like, thank, this guy is caught, and the dude. I mean, it was one of those cases that it just really struck me. I remember when I first talked about it back in 2017. And it was like a fresh thing at the time, you know, and it was like a long 5-6 years of this, you know. So I'm very glad that it's over. The thing that I just want to talk about here is that some of the unsealed evidence. You know, Alan places himself at the scene. Abby and Libby, who were best friends in the 8th grade, just to recap a little, were on a hiking trail in rural Delphi when they were killed in February of 2017. Alan, a 50-year-old Delphi man, was arrested in November of 2022. He is charged with 2 counts of murder and has entered a not guilty plea. Okay, he lived in the town nearby. He was nearby where the crime actually happened. There's photos of him at a bar with his wanted poster behind him. Pretty crazy. And then when you see a picture of him, it's like it's unbelievable how similar he looks to a merge of 2 of the composites together. It's like this is the guy. And if you look at him, he almost looks like the guy on the bridge. He looks like Bridge Guy. It's unbelievable. In October 13th of 2022, so like right before he got arrested, in an interview, Allen told police he saw the juvenile girls walking on the trails east of the Freedom Bridge, and said he went on to Monon High Bridge near where the girls were killed. So he put himself there. So, you know, again, Allen admitted to the police that he was on the trail, but denied knowing victim 1 or victim 2, Abby and Libby, and denied any involvement in their murders, according to the police affidavit. Allen has been consistent in his police interviews over the years. Former FBI agent and ABC News contributor Brad Garrett said that he put himself at the scene on the bridge. But Garrett said he doesn't understand let me rephrase. Garrett said that he does not understand how it took so long for an arrest to occur. In a small town, quote, in a small town, in a place where a small amount of traffic on this abandoned railroad bridge, your suspect pool is fairly small, Garrett said, so police likely concentrated their investigation on Delphi and the surrounding communities, end quote. Allen's gun was also linked to the crime scene. According to a video recovered from one of the victims' phones, Abby or Libby mentioned gun as a man approached them. The probable cause affidavit mentioned that a .40 caliber unspent round was found less than 2 feet away from one of the girls' bodies, and that an unspent round went through a gun that Allen owns, according to a probable cause affidavit. Garrett explained that an unspent bullet is one of the things an unspent bullet is one that has the casing and the projectile still together. Unquote. To get that done, he said one of two things happens. One, someone tries to fire the gun, but it's a faulty bullet and doesn't fire. Or two, the gun is jammed, which Garrett said is very common. During a search of Allen's home on October 13th, 2022, officers found knives and guns, including a Sig Sauer model P226, a .40 caliber pistol, the probable cause affidavit said. Indiana State's police analysis of the gun determined an unspent round located within 2 feet of the victims had been cycled through Richard M. Gallen's Sig Sauer model P226. So basically, the gun was there. He was there on the bridge. He put himself there, and then the police were able to gather through the search that the weapon or the round found at the scene that was unspent was physically cycled through the weapon that this man had in his house. So it's hard for that to occur. And people wondering, a lot of crime fans probably know, but for those who don't, each weapon has its very own individual, just for manufacturing. It's not like it's intentional, it's just manufacturing differences in how the gun's casted, how it's molded, how it's put together, screw marks, scratch marks, everything. The way that gun is produced makes an impression on the bullet that goes through it. And so you can line those up almost perfectly. Like if you've ever seen a TV show, it's pretty similar to that, except for it's not as like high tech, and there's not like a giant room with a super hot chick like NCIS who's in the back room just I broke into the mainframe. It took me like 1 second. Like that's not how it goes. It's a little different than that. But the fact that they can do that is pretty astonishing to me. Despite the mention of the gun, it's not clear if Abby and Libby died from gunshot wounds. Police still have not released their cause of death, and that's honestly probably a good thing. That needs to stay at least until court is over, because that's one of the key things that they can have against him is having information that isn't public knowledge that only the perpetrator and obviously the police now know. So that is the Delphi murders case that I'm very thrilled is wrapped up. One of the most recent pieces of news that was updated last week here is that Richard Allen, since being in custody, has taken a very large turn for the worst. I'm not going to lie. His physical and mental health has strongly deteriorated. It's WLFI News out of West Lafayette, I believe it is. I can't be too sure. Channel 18 News. It's on their website. It shows that attorneys are concerned for the Delphi double homicide suspect physical and mental health. These pictures of him are pretty stunning. I don't want to share it, and I don't want to get copyright struck for sharing their images, but he looks like he is barely the same person. I mean, he lost tons of weight from what it looks like. His skin is incredibly pale. He looks like he's like brittle, He looks like he's in very rough shape. And here's the situation on it is you have to understand, I am not happy with who this individual is, nor with the choices he chose to make if he is found guilty on these charges. The thing is, in this country, everyone is found innocent until proven guilty, period. No matter how much I want this man to rot for the rest of his life, if he's found guilty on this, and in my opinion, he looks just like, I already mentioned earlier, I think everyone is fully aware of the unsettling way that he went about his life, unfortunately. But we as a society do not treat those who do bad things equally as bad. We don't do that. We rise above and we treat people with dignity and respect, and that is why we have a society that works and that has a very strong, thriving communities around, because we know that the rule of law does work here. And especially in recent times, it might seem like it's not, and there's sometimes things get blown up on the internet and it seems like things are worse than they are, but the reality is this is a country of law and order, and we just need to treat those who we incarcerate with the dignity and respect of a human being. We need to. So again, I don't agree with the way that he's being treated. However much I wish that this man would I don't want to say I don't want to get too graphic, but I'm not a fan of this gentleman, as I'm sure none of you are either. But we do need to have enough respect for ourselves to know that we're better than this and we can treat people better than this. And I hate bringing up Bible quotes, but one of my favorite quotes in the Bible is when it says Judas ate too. Judas is the person who turned on Jesus at the right before the final dinner, and Jesus knew that Judas betrayed him at the dinner and still fed him, because it's not about who Judas is, it's about who Jesus was. And I think this is similar about this. This isn't about who he is, this is about who we are. And I think that we can do better at treating people with dignity and respect while we have them incarcerated. That's my 2 cents on that, and I will leave it at that. So that is our solved case of the week. One that I want to talk about now is one from my hometown. This is the unsolved case of Laurie Jean Depies. Now, this is a case I remember seeing, because this happened 2 years before I was born in my hometown, but there's still billboards, I believe, up of it. This happened in Menasha, Wisconsin, which is my hometown. A lot of people think that I'm from Appleton because I say it. Appleton's just like the nearest big city. This is like the town that I'm from. So Laurie just disappeared in 1992. I'm going to go ahead and just read from her father here. Her father says that Mark says that he remembers Laurie's endearing qualities, including her easygoing nature and her sense of adventure. She was spontaneous, he said. That was Laurie. I've accepted that she's dead, but the fact remains, what happened? Friends say she was fun to be around, enjoyed working with people, and was very strong-willed. Depies was seen entering her gray 1984 Volkswagen Bug and Volkswagen Rabbit Volkswagen Rabbit. I'm not sure what the difference is. At the Fox River Mall in Grand Chute, Wisconsin, which I spent a lot of my childhood at, which is kind of creepy. At approximately 10 p.m. on August 19th, 1992, she apparently arrived at her boyfriend's apartment complex at the 300 block of West Wilson Avenue in Menasha, Wisconsin, between approximately 10 and 10:30. Now, the fact that it says she apparently arrived means that I'm guessing that it's just his word saying that she was there, which doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. Depies' boyfriend had been waiting in his apartment with his sister and a friend. They heard her car pull into the lot and went looking for her when she did not arrive at the apartment. They found her locked vehicle in the complex parking lot, but no sign of her. Eventually, they notified police. A styrofoam cup was found on the hood of Depies' car, but there was no other signs of her at the scene. No one saw her walk away from the parking lot or get into anyone else's car. Her overnight bag and purse were left inside of her vehicles. There are a few clues in Depies' case. However, authorities believe she was taken by someone she knew, as it was very uncharacteristic of Depies to willingly get into a car with a stranger, and there is no indication that she was forcibly kidnapped. They think she might have gone willingly with someone she trusted and was harmed afterwards. The cup on the hood of her car had an unidentified thumbprint on it, which police believe may have been from the abduction suspect. Judging from the size of the print, it was probably, although not definitely, from a man. So it was probably from a man. Not definitely from a man, but probably. Okay. In 2010, Larry Dwayne Hall confessed to kidnapping and killing Depies. He is currently serving a life sentence in North Carolina for killing 15-year-old Jessica Roach, whose body was found in an Indiana cornfield in '93. Investigators searched the area where Hall said he buried Depies' body, but they were unable to find her body or any evidence at all to substantiate his confession. They believe that his memory of the killing might have been skewed, which means that he probably killed someone that also was unsolved, and that's not great. No arrests have been made in Depies' disappearance, and her case remains unsolved. There has been no activity on her bank account and no activity through her social security number since she went missing. So it looks like there are still flowers being left to this day for Miss Depies. I feel bad for her. She was currently buried now at St. Mary's Cemetery in Chilton in Calumet County, Wisconsin, and that's here in the United States. This is something that it's right near my house. It's right near my hometown. That TV show Making a Murderer that happened near my hometown. when I got up and got away, you kind of realize that some shady things went down back there. And I'm thankful that it's a lot better than it used to be. Visiting it seems like a new city. It seems like a new town. It seems brighter. It seems like everyone's kind of happier. The economic situation has turned around back there, so I'm happy for them to see that things are turning around back there, and I just hope that we can find a resolution for the Depies family. Again, thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of American Homicide with Jake Ryder. I'm Jake, and again, we will see you next week. If you were a fan of what you heard here today, please subscribe, download, and/or rate the show. We do appreciate the feedback.